Hey guys, so in today's video we're going to talk about how to save big money off your samples, and then I'm going to tell you exactly the way you can make that work basically. So when you order samples from China, then the one biggest cost that you have on that are actually shipping costs. It's not usually the actual samples itself. It's not what the factory charges you for, making the sample or getting the sample. Oftentimes you get the sample off the shelf anyway, right? So very first, before we go into how you save big money, let's actually speak about what kind of samples you need, because there are three kinds of samples. The very first kind of sample is when you're sourcing private label products. People always make the mistake and go out and get samples, including all the changes and with their logo on it. And while you want to do that, and while you want to, have customized products and go with all of that stuff, while you want to do that, you have to keep in mind that when you make your very first sample orders, the only reason that you order samples is that you want to check the quality, right? So oftentimes people only order one sample with all of the changes, with logo and with everything. Then orders from only one supplier because they're so expensive, and then the sample arrives and the sample doesn't look good, and they throw it away and they have to start over, right? What you want to do instead is order multiple samples from different suppliers for the same product without all of those changes. Even though you want to do all the changes later and put your logo on it and do custom packaging, very first round of samples should always be simple. Just look at the quality. And people always say it gets so expensive to order the samples, but that's just because the number one biggest cost on the samples is shipping. So if you have multiple factories that you order a sample from and they send that all to you, well, you have to pay individual shipping on each of them. And that can get quite expensive. Each of those samples can easily be $80, be $100, especially if you live somewhere in Australia, somewhere far apart from the usual shipping routes. That's really the biggest cost. So how do we tackle that? The easiest way to tackle that is to have someone in China to bundle those for you. So that's basically called sample consolidation, which means you order let's say you order 5 samples, right? That means you go out to 5 individual factories and you order 5 individual samples. Oftentimes they cost $5 or $10 if you don't have any changes on them. And then you just have the factories send all of those to one place in China, or to one person in China, that puts all of those samples into one box, collects them, consolidates them, bundles them all into one box for you, and ships you only that one box. That means now you don't have to pay for all of those samples anymore. Now you only have to pay one shipping, right? You only pay one-time shipping because all of those are consolidated in one box, right? So that's the easiest way to shave money off. How do you find someone that can do that for you? By the way, I'm sitting here in China. I'm sitting here in Shenzhen, China. This is where I live. This is where all of this stuff is happening, where you get your products from. You usually don't have that problem, right? I don't need anyone to consolidate them for, because I can get all the samples sent to me. But if you're not in China and you need someone to consolidate the samples for you, how do you find that person? There are actually multiple options for you, okay? Very first option, and that's the option that I go with and that I source my products with and that I recommend everyone to source their product with, actually, is doing the whole process with a sourcing agent. Because as part of the whole job what the sourcing agent does for you, one little part of that is also consolidating those samples for you, right? So if you have the right agents, they would do the whole work for you. They reach out initially for suppliers, they order samples for you, they speak with suppliers, they negotiate the prices for you, they get you a better deal than you could get. They do all of these kinds of things for you, dealing with the supplier, placing your order, getting your logos on the product, getting packaging. And as one part of that, they also consolidate samples, right? So that's the first option, finding a sourcing agent. The best way that I've found to find a sourcing agent is to go on Upwork.com. By the way, in the description below, there's a training on how to find your supplier. And in that training, I also show you how to do this whole process step by step, right? So basically you would go on Upwork.com, you would put out a job post that you're looking for an agent. You would say what kind of products you're interested in, what products you need. There are other videos where you can find a sourcing agent, where I teach you how to find a sourcing agent. If you want the full training with all templates and stuff, look in the description for the supplier training and get access to that. That will give you the best overview of everything. Once you have the agent, that's the one thing that can just, they consolidated it and they put it in one box and they send it to you. It's really easy, it's fast, it's really cheap. The second way that you can do is find a freelancer just for that. So how you want to do that is you want to just go on Fiverr.com. On Fiverr, you can find really good deals. You just look for people that are in China and that do all kinds of jobs. Usually we look for virtual assistants. And if you look for a virtual assistant in China, then you can find someone. And you just make an agreement with them. You say, hey, I'm just going to send you all of those different kind of samples. You put them in one box, you bundle them and ship them out to me. And you still have to pay for that, right? But that's basically what you do. So you pay them for the service of putting it all together, and then you pay them the shipping so that they can ship it out for you. You should get a tracking number with that so you can control it. That's the second way. The third way is to reach out to students in China. There are actually people that are foreign students in Shenzhen. They always need a little bit of extra money by side. They can do that for you too. You can find those through Fiverr as well. You can send me an email and I will recommend you some people that can do that for you. And that's really the biggest key here, is just to put it all in one box, save the money on the samples, and have them all shipped out to you in one package. If you'd like little tips for that, if you need more questions, just put them in the comments, whatever else you need to know about this. If I left something out, if something wasn't clear, please put it in the comments and I'll answer it for you in those comments. Let me know your other questions that you have about sourcing in China, importing from China, and obviously I will get back to that. I'll record a video about it. Also, this question today was actually someone asked it in the comments, and this is the answer. So I hope you like the answer. I hope you like these kinds of videos. Subscribe to this channel if you are looking to source your products in China or generally sell e-commerce products. And here in the channel, we talk all about sourcing, profiting, and what else? Sourcing, selling, and profiting from your private label products. That's what we talk on this channel. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I'll come back to you. Have a good day.